What's up? It's Coach Patrick here. Just with a quick recap of the weekend's events around Chris Gleason's wake and funeral services. I know so many of you have been paying attention and so many of you have been asking what's going on. And I could type it, but it would just take so long to put together everything that I saw and everything that I experienced. And it might not give justice to what it was that I saw. So, basically, the wake was held on Friday after Thanksgiving, and the services were on Saturday. And many of Chris's local friends and training partners have been emailing myself and other members of the community who were local to Chris and knew Chris, and asked them to come join us for the weekend. They took us in just like family, as if we'd known them for a long time. Chris, still connecting me to people that I probably should have known, long after he had passed. And that was one of the great things that he always did, was bring people together and bring cool people together, have them do fun stuff. And we did not disappoint this weekend. I met with Mike Graffio, drove up from here, met him at his home, and brought him up as well. Mike raced with Chris in the Philly Marathon that day, and was one of the last EN folks to see him. So it was great to have Mike there, both for the journey but also for the weekend. And we went to the wake, and we were trying to find it, and we knew we'd found it when we saw the cars lined up on the highway. It took us over 2 hours to get into the building and up to see Jennifer and Chris's sister and Chris's mom. The the funeral home had pictures of Chris from his youth, and learned an awful lot about him. I never knew that he was such an athlete as a young person. He played tons of different sports, and he excelled at all of them, which to those of you who knew Chris probably isn't a surprise, although he didn't share that past with you. There were people from all walks of life, there all ages, coming to remember what was a great young man, and it was very, very moving. From all the little pictures and the newspaper clippings to a video montage that someone had prepared of him with some recent pictures set to the music of Dave Matthews Band. It was very, very special. It was great to see Jennifer and Chris's sister and his family, and just hug them and connect with them and share in their loss. It was a very, very special time. We went out after there to the local Italian place where Chris would go every single Thursday night, after his master swim workout, and would close the place down. He'd have food, and then have a couple drinks and just hang out with the locals. And it was a great way for those of us who knew Chris but hadn't spent a lot of time in his town to get to know another side of him, and see how he had even put deeper or similar roots into his own community that we had shared with us on Endurance Nation. So we hung out and just shared stories and caught up with so many people. I don't think we got to bed till 1:30, and we were up at 5 the next morning because they had organized an informal 5K memorial run for Chris. It was cold and dark. It was awesome. It was epic. About 40 people showed up to race with Chris and Spirit, and they took us on the local paths that Chris ran when he ran every day. Chris ran almost every day, at least 30 minutes, to keep it going. That was just his thing. He didn't make it a special challenge. He just did it, and it was great to get out there and just explore these paths and share stories with some other folks who knew him. Of course, in true Chris style, the run ended up being something like, I think all in, we were supposed to run maybe 5 miles from the house to the course to the back again. I think we put it over 9. It was just a great experience. It was just awesome watching the sun come up, and again, just sharing the run with Jennifer. She even came and ran with us for a bit. We went home, got changed up, and we went to the funeral. We had beautiful services. It was a Roman Catholic church, and they brought in the pallbearers brought Chris in, and they had a great service, and it was really highlighted by the eulogy. Chris's best friends since nursery school gave the eulogy, and it was just amazing. I'm gonna try and get my hands on it, so you could learn more about Chris. He revealed to us that, Chris was, unsurprisingly, I guess, undefeated in his legal career. Another benchmark that many would aspire to, that he just never really mentioned when he, talked to you about what you were doing and your stories and your progress and the things that he felt truly mattered. Obviously, he was great at what he did, and that was yet another facet of his excellence. Um, his daughter also said the Irish prayer. May the road rise to meet you, and so on. And that was very, very moving. Not a dry eye in the house. Um, it's just very special. It was good to see his kids, playing with their cousins and just being kids. Jennifer obviously in a lot of shock, but still, managing to kind of recognize what was going on. We retired from there back to his friend's house, the man who gave the eulogy, and we hung out for a while with some food and shared more stories before coming home. All in all, it was a very sad weekend, but it was kind of a neat way to connect with all the different people from his athletic life, from his personal life, from his professional life, with whom Chris had some kind of special contact or bond, and it really showed both that weekend, but also the outpouring of support I've heard from everyone on the team with your messages and your emails and your voicemails, just how special a young man Chris was in terms of how he touched us all. I thought his friend Dev Paul, who is, who drove down from Canada over 5 hours to be there for the weekend, really captured it best when talking about Hinduism and his beliefs and how people are sort of reincarnated and go back through again and again until they achieve spiritual enlightenment. That he has noticed that repeatedly the young men who are lost that are taken from us, the young men and women, are more often than not some of the brightest people we've ever known, and that perhaps they truly had achieved that final state of excellence of being, and that they were needed elsewhere beyond where we were, because that's the only plausible answer as to why Chris was taken from us. So we have so many things to do still to memorialize Chris and to remember what he did, from thinking of a special race for next year to small gestures to honor what he sort of created, his spirit for us here on the team. And we'll be doing that over the next couple of weeks. If any of you want to be in touch with me or have input or feedback from me, please hit me with a personal message or an email. I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, live every day like it was the most important. Hug your kids if you got them, and leave no regrets, because that's what Chris would have wanted. Thanks, folks, and I will talk to you soon.